Millions worldwide are starting to notice what's happening at General Motors, and many believe the warning signs have been ignored for years. Between reliability complaints, expensive repairs, and decisions that continue to frustrate owners, it's becoming harder for GM to ignore the criticism. But before we continue, if you enjoy videos covering everything happening in the automotive world, make sure to like the video and subscribe. We're putting out new content every single day, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. But with that being said, let's get back into the video.
You guys remember how I said that GM engineers are idiots the other day? Well, they strike again. Look at the bolt. Yep, that's right. Nope. Idiots.
This is for the engineers at GM. If you're not an engineer at GM, you don't have to keep watching, but I don't give a shit. So I need to ask, hey, why do you put the oil filter less than like a hand's width away from the catalytic converter? Have you never had a tech walk into your office and have a discussion with you? I really want to know the answer.
Are you serious, GM? General Motors. 2020 Camaro. You got to do all this just to replace these. What were you thinking?
You guys want to see something pretty funny? Check it. Yeah, I'm working on a 1.4 liter Ecotech GM product, made, I'm not sure where these are made actually, but I'm doing the water pump on her. It's right there. I mean, seems simple enough. Of course, take the motor mount off. But you get to this part where you take your serpentine belt out, just if you're doing maintenance or something like that. Pull your serpentine belt out. Wait, what? Oh, it goes around the engine mount. That's cool. Well, guess what? These are stretch bolts. According to GM, you're only supposed to use them once. Also, doing the water pump, more stretch bolts that go into the front of the engine cover. So when you do this, when you do your serpentine belt, you have to spin, well, you got to do at least these three. I believe they're retail probably around 10 bucks a bolt. So, just add that to the job. Not to mention all the extra BS of jacking the engine up and all that stuff just for a belt. Great design. What a wonderful, great design. I love it.
What's up, folks? Been a while. 2023 Suburban. Customer says his dad said he needs brakes. I took it apart. See how much pad is left on there? That's another 10,000 miles easy. But what GM does now, they put these sensors in here. Look how much pad is left. And it hit the sensor and it says you need brakes. See how much pad is left? Look at the new sensor. So you wear that down just a little bit and it's gonna tell you you need brakes again. GM is on some bullshit. They scamming people. Rip off. I had to get that off of my chest. Have a blessed day. Peace.
Listen to this, guys. Listen. Are you sure you want a GM vehicle? I know they look good. I know the Escalades look good. I know the Silverados look good. I know the Denalis look good. But do you want your engine sounding like this? And you know what's funny? That GM, you'll take it to the dealership and they'll tell you to go kick rocks. They're not gonna fix it for you. And then you still owe them like 30 grand. These trucks don't even get it to get paid off when the engines are already out. And this engine right here, this is a 6-cylinder. And this engine here is about $6,000 at the dealer. New engine, $6,000. Truck's not paid off and you have to make over a $7,000 repair after fluids, spark plug seals, labor, whatever you need in order to get this engine replaced. And yes, you can pull off by doing the cam and lifters, but even though you fix only that, it's still an expensive repair. And I still find it really bad quality to be doing that kind of job on a car that barely hit 100,000 miles. That's crazy. It sounds really bad from here, really, really bad. And a lot of people want to talk about Toyota engines doing the same thing. Now, here's the thing with Toyota. Toyota is actually warranting their engines. If you take this truck to Chevy right now and ask them and tell them that the engine is bad, they're not going to warranty your engine. They're going to pretty much tell you to go kick rocks, even though you probably owe them like 30, 20, 25 grand on the truck. It sucks, but it is what it is. That's why as a work truck, I'll stick with my Tundra. 306,000 miles, hauling every day, stock engine, stock transmission.
It is days like this where I absolutely appreciate working for Ford, because GM, this spark plug design, this is so stupid. What a pain in the ass. I don't know how you GM guys do it. This is annoying. These spark plugs are in the worst location. I cannot do it.
Alright, this is Blake over at R&S Automotive again. Welcome back. We get a lot of recommendations, asked about recommendations for vehicles. We try to steer clear. Honestly, nowadays, a lot of the American vehicles are not very good. Reason being, let me show you. This is out of a Chevy Traverse. This still got oil in it on this side of the head. Go to the other cylinder head, there's no oil. It's dry. Come back here to the oil pan, and you've got metal for days. Reason being, spun rod bearings. These cars eat oil. Manufacturers want you to do 10,000 mile oil changes. No, 3,000.
Stupid. Dumb. Piece of face.
I'd like to introduce one of the worst investments I ever made as a pilot truck, a full-time pilot truck. This is my 2024 GMC Sierra 3-liter Duramax diesel. This thing literally spends more time in the shop than it does on the road. First purchase was a 2023. It was white, 3-liter Duramax 1500 GMC, and it was literally the biggest piece of shit you could find on the highway. So we decided we must have had a dud. Let's just upgrade it to a 2024. We'll get out of that one into this one. And to be credible, this thing lasted to 70,000 kilometers before it blew the first turbo. It literally has 90-some thousand on it now, and it blows a turbo every 9,000 kilometers. Nobody can tell me why GM Canada has an issue with these trucks. And I'm putting this video out here out of pure frustration with this truck. I've bought brand new vehicles since 2004. I've never had or experienced this. We have diesel 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks right now that run beautiful. Those things are the cat's meow. But GM has a problem with the 3 liters. Is anybody else having these problems? My dealership is an amazing dealership, but they're at a loss. GM Canada doesn't seem to have answers. If it's something we're doing wrong with this truck, please let us know. We'd like to rectify it. Right now, it sits at the dealership yet again. 9,000 kilometers on it since the last turbo went boom. Warranty's coming up. I'm left with a dud.
General Motors has made a lot of interesting choices, we'll call them, over the years. A few things that come to mind are Crossfire fuel injection, OptiSpark, the 4L60E automatic transmission, and Northstar V8s. This one is the most confusing to me. I don't understand why GM would do this. It seems like trucks always got the short end of the stick. And this is one of those short ends of the stick. It is a central sequential fuel injection system. And rather than using regular fuel injectors, which were available at the time, GM designed this, which uses poppet valves, right there, that are fed from up here in this little fuel body with the regulator right there that likes to leak. and they get all full of carbon, and then the poppet valves don't open, or they get stuck open. They just cause all kinds of problems. And I just gotta ask, why, GM? Why did you do this?
This message is for whoever created the 1.4 liter turbo Ecotec motor and the people at Chevrolet. What the f is wrong with you, huh? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Because everyone knows, look, everyone knows. The valve covers leak. The intake manifolds go out because the PCV system gets clogged up. And the PCV line goes bad. And what's missing here is the turbo, because the turbo's over here. I already replaced the turbo. There's the cat, because we had to pull the cat off to be able to pull the turbo off. And we only have to pull the turbo off, although we replaced the turbo like 6 months ago. And all of a sudden, the oil cooler down here where it mounts against the block is leaking and pissing all over the floor. So it goes through, I don't know, about a gallon of oil a week, and now I have to tear it all back down and fix it again. So Chevy, from the bottom of my heart, go f yourself. Hard. And I would love absolutely nothing more than to take this back to the dealership that my old lady got it from. But they did such a good job bending her over and her without lube that guess what? We're like $8,000 upside down. Thanks, Chevy.
Do yourself a favor and never buy a Chevrolet. I bought a 2015 Chevy Equinox LT Flex Fuel, and that car has been a piece of shit ever since the day I got it. Before it turned 2,000 miles on the odometer, I had the privilege of letting it go back to the dealership for 3 freaking weeks to put a new computer in it, because the computer was telling the piece of shit transmission not to shift. And guess what? My extended warranty that I bought through Curry Buick here in Bloomington conveniently didn't cover the price of a rental car. But they were willing to let me have a rental car from them for $70 frickin' a day, which I said no. Look, kids, Chevrolet now is literally built to break. Don't buy these new cars. By the way, they're now going to be spying on you with spyware inside the car, and every service you could possibly want on it is going to be subscription-based, including remote start, which is on the key fob. Do yourself a favor and stay away from Chevrolet.
Tell you what, General Motors can go itself up with the claw end of a goddamn hammer. 2016 GMC Terrain with the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder in it. I had one of these, the 2.4, in 2010, my daughter's car. Took out 2 timing chains in that motor. This is a 2016. I'm like, checking around, GM should have had their shit figured out after having the same motor for 6 years. Guess not. Took the timing chain out of this one as well. And on top of that, when I go start tearing it apart, I don't know if you can see it back here or not, but there is a really nice crack in the exhaust manifold. Plus a bolt down in there that I can't get anything on to get off. So I've been a GM guy my entire life. This is the last goddamn GM I will ever own. The piece of shit. Jesus Christ.
I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Chevy, do better. This truck has 600 miles on it. Judging by looking underneath here, you would think it has 200,000. Wow. 600 miles on this 2500 ZR2. And half the truck's rusted.
Going out here to start my truck. Hit the unlock button 2 times. Unlock the doors. Open the doors up. Running boards don't work. Nothing on the dash is coming on. Go ahead and climb in. Put my foot on the brake. Hit the button once. Things come on. My backup camera comes on. None of this lights up. Hit and hold the start button. Absolutely nothing works. Nothing works. Turn it off. Get out. Lock the doors. Try the remote start. Doesn't work either.
My tailgate, no matter what I do. This thing is closed. Keep pressing it. On here it won't open. Over here, that won't open it. Nothing opens it. Whenever it rains outside and truck gets wet, that's what happens. And the light starts flashing. I'm trying to get some stuff in the back of here, and this is ruining my day here. What a piece of shit truck.
Absolutely pathetic what you pay for these vehicles, and then you get this. This doesn't work. Brand new truck. You have some weird sound coming from the radio. Blinker, can't even hear it. Just pathetic what you pay for these trucks and then have to deal with issues like this with a brand new truck. Come on, GMC, do better.
It's becoming harder to ignore the number of people questioning what General Motors has been doing over the past several years. The complaints aren't just coming from one model or one type of vehicle anymore. They're coming from truck owners, SUV owners, mechanics, and longtime GM customers who all seem to be asking the same question. How did we get here? For a lot of people, the biggest issue is that vehicle prices have gone up dramatically, but confidence in the product hasn't. Owners are spending $60,000, $70,000, and even $80,000 on brand new vehicles, only to run into transmission failures, engine problems, electrical glitches, and expensive repairs that they never expected on something so new. When you're making payments on a vehicle that costs as much as some luxury cars, people expect those problems to be rare, not something they read about every day. Another complaint that comes up constantly is the feeling that cost-cutting has become more important than long-term durability. Whether it's cheaper interior materials, questionable component quality, or parts that seem to wear out much sooner than they used to, many owners believe GM has shifted its priorities. The result is that even loyal customers who have owned GM vehicles for decades are beginning to look elsewhere for their next purchase. Mechanics have noticed the trend too. They often talk about seeing the same failures repeatedly and working on vehicles that are becoming increasingly difficult to diagnose and repair. More electronics, more software, and more complicated systems mean repairs take longer and cost more, leaving both technicians and customers frustrated. None of this means every GM vehicle is unreliable, because there are still plenty of owners who have had great experiences. But the conversation has clearly changed. Instead of asking which GM truck or SUV they should buy next, more people are asking whether they should buy one at all. And when a brand built on customer loyalty starts hearing that question more often, it's a sign that something has changed.